I'm Jesse Ventura. State agent, question more. Welcome to my world. Come along for the ride. The world according to Jesse.
We're doing something different on The World According to Jesse this month. Now, the governor and I recently took the show on the road to Aspen, Colorado, where we attended the Nexus Earth Conference. While we were there, we interviewed heavy hitters like our guest today, former Democratic Congressman Dennis Kucinich. But before we get to all that, the governor joins me now live from Minnesota.
Great to be with you, Brigitte, as always, and remember, sit tight. The show starts now. The world according to Jesse.
All right, Governor, you've been vocal about your support for former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Now, while he was on the team last year, he refused to stand during the national anthem before a series of games to protest police brutality and the oppression of minorities. Critics say that football should not be political, but football has always been political. In fact, a Senate report titled Tackling Paid Patriotism revealed that between 2012 and 2015, the Department of Defense paid professional sports teams $6.8 million in taxpayer money for patriotic tributes. Now, these include on-field color guard and enlistment ceremonies, national anthem performances, flag details, military appreciation nights, and welcome home performances for returning soldiers. During that same period, the military services spent $53 million in marketing and advertising contracts with professional sports leagues. This includes the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. One NFL team that received DoD money is Colin Kaepernick's former team, the San Francisco 49ers. The official definition of a patriot, Governor, is a person who regards himself as a defender of individual rights against presumed interference by the federal government. So, Governor, what do you say to people who call Kaepernick a traitor?
They're wrong. First and foremost, let's get to this. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of the situation. There is nothing in the Constitution, there is nothing in the Bill of Rights, there is no law, to my knowledge, on the books that state you have to salute the flag. Now, most of us do it. Most of us do it, some because of peer pressure of not doing it. But there is no law that says you have to do that. Nothing. It is not an offense. Yet there is a law called the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights, which allows you to petition your government in a fashion of, being able to protest. So there's a law supporting Colin Kaepernick's right to protest. There is no law that says he cannot do that. He has the right to do it under the law. He's exercising that right. Now, you people out there may not like it. You may think he's wrong in doing it, but it's the bigger picture, people. I'm a veteran. And what I fought for and what I served my country for is for what the flag actually stands for, not the flag itself, what it stands for. And what it stands for is freedom. It stands for freedom and liberty. And that's what the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and our government are supposed to guarantee us. Freedom and liberty. Now, someone may express that freedom and liberty. You may not like it. Well, you don't have to watch. Turn the channel, whatever. Then we get to the point of paid patriotism and we find out that prior to 2008, 2009, players weren't even required to be on the field for the national anthem. Now, all of a sudden, they're required to be there. First and foremost, I'd like to pose this question. Why is the national anthem played at all at a sporting event? That we need the blessing of the government or the country to play a game like football or baseball or basketball? I don't understand why it's played in the first place. In fact, being from Minnesota, I think you could probably fire the crowd up a lot more if you played, the Vikings are purple and gold. If you played Purple Rain by Prince prior to the game, you'd probably get into bigger frenzy of wanting your team to win. Why is the anthem played in the first place? To bless the games like the Roman Empire? Is that what we're looking at here? We need to bless before the lions eat the Christians, or whatever goes on in the sporting event? You know, and for people to get angry at Kaepernick for doing, remember something, people, it's the First Amendment. That even puts it in front of the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And I'm willing to bet most of these people with their Second Amendment right to bear arms are ones attacking the First Amendment and Colin Kaepernick's right to protest the government and the country. Again, people, you don't have to like it, but you don't want to live in a totalitarian type government where they tell you you can't do it, or when you have a president that has the audacity to say you should be fired for exercising your First Amendment rights.
Right.
That is sick. That is sick. You have a president that took an oath to defend the Constitution, to defend the Bill of Rights, and yet he's being hypocritical when he's stating you should be fired for exercising your First Amendment rights. The forefathers made it number one because it's the most important, Brigida.
Right. And Governor, you asked me why they have to sing it. Well, one of the main reasons why the DoD pays for such contracts is to increase military recruitment. But in 2014, while the National Guard was spending millions of dollars on professional sports advertising contracts, it was simultaneously requesting more money from Congress to cover a shortfall of over $100 million it needed to pay its troops. Now, this is just another way our military seems to be wasting and mismanaging money, isn't it, Governor?
Well, I wouldn't call it wasting and mismanaging it, Brigida. It's done for a purpose. It's done to get young, impressionable men like me. When I was 18 years old, they get you all fired up with patriotism, nationalism, whatever you want to call it, to go serve at war. So it has a purpose. They need bodies. People need to remember this. Whenever you go to war, you need living, breathing bodies that you can sacrifice for the cause. People are going to die. You need to replace the ones that are the ones that are injured. So what better recruiting tool than to go to the National Football League or other pro sports, which are watched tremendously by kids 15 to 25 years old, which are the exact bodies that they need in the military, the exact people they need to recruit. So I think it's brilliant on their part that they focus like that, but I think there needs to be honesty about it. They need to allow the public to know we're focusing on your kids, we're focusing on the young people, because we need them to enlist so that we can carry on with our war machine. You gotta have fresh, good bodies in which to go to war.
Now, do you think that there's a difference between patriotism and nationalism?
Absolutely, there's a difference. Nationalism is when they start mandating you to stand for the flag. Nationalism's when I vetoed this when I was governor. They tried to make the Pledge of Allegiance in public schools mandatory. I vetoed it in a second. You can't mandate patriotism. Patriotism comes from within an individual. Patriotism is something that's done out of the goodness of your heart, not the fact you're ordered to do it. That's not patriotism. Patriotism comes because you want to do something for the public good, and it's your thoughts. Nobody's making you do it, and you're not standing up there looking for rah-rahs after you do it. That's patriotism. Patriotism isn't these people that stand up and salute the flag and rah, rah, let's go to war, while they never go to war, their kids never go to war. All these millionaires want you to be patriotic, but notice, and I'll say this again, in my 6 years in the United States Navy, I never met one millionaire serving his country. Not a one. I didn't meet any rich people in the military who had set their wealth aside and said, I'm going to put my ass on the line and maybe die for my country. It don't happen, people. Those are the poor people doing it. The rich people don't serve, very rarely. Rare, rare, rare. You couldn't even find a steak that rare.
All right, the shallow outrage we're seeing over Kaepernick's act of patriotism can be toxic when it centers around defending the state rather than the people. Nationalism has not only divided the people of America, it has also led to wasted opportunities for international cooperation abroad. After the break, Jesse sits down with former Democratic Congressman Dennis Kucinich to discuss.
The world according to Jesse.